people of the World Wide Web. So it is Wednesday, it is another look what I've been watching, and we have quite a massive haul. So yeah, gone are the days where I don't show you what I've got. That'll be a little kind of promo pitch. We work in reverse order even, and we shall go over what I got. So first one is the one I picked up from a charity shop for 50p. So this is Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. So this is the movie that basically completes the Gundam Wing series. It is what is essentially 3 OVAs tied into ones that basically tells the stories. The Gundams are going to be destroyed. Then a new kind of ruler peeks up her head, and then basically it's how getting the Gundams back to fight to kind of have the final conclusion of the story. Very enjoyable. Glad I picked this up. Obviously 50p, you can't go wrong. I do have the series. I don't have this OVA, so add it in. And there we go. That is the first one for this week. So next one is one I picked up in some of my Blu-ray hunts a few months ago. So this is Mum and Dad. Yeah, basically it is, as it says, Blow Up Glory. There is kind of a virus that is released that parents basically want to kill their children. That is essentially it. You only want to kill the people related to you, and that's how it is. And it is the mum and dad are basically going after their 2 kids, and or basically all the kids go to school and then people start getting killed and stuff like that. It was all right. Not Nicolas Cage's best by far. Has a very open-ended ending to the movie. But yeah, as I say, not the best. Glad to have the collection. Paid a £5. Probably wouldn't have paid a £5 if I'd known how average the movie was, but it is what it is. So next one, we have one off the anime list. So this is the 50th out of 100 anime titles that I've now scratched off. So this is Redline. So this is essentially, you have international space racing. They start off, I believe, with I think it's yellow line, blue line, and then you have red line, which is like the kind of grand championships. Starts up with them having the qualifications, and then this is JP. He is kind of the hero, so to speak, of our movie. He ends up not qualifying, but then by default does go to the qualifying race. They put it on this alien planet where it is like a demilitarized zone, because there is like a army that don't want them on there and stuff like this, and then basically all hell breaks loose. It is very, very well done. It's kind of a very Dead Leaves, if you know that anime. Very probably, if I show you the picture, it's very bold, so they use very thick black lines. This makes stuff stand out. Now this has very little to any CGI in it. It is 100,000 pictures were drawn to create this, and it is beautifully done. I must admit, the skill, it took 7 years. Very, very nice. If you love chaos and racing and stuff like this, is right up your street. A little bit of part nudity, so just to warn people of that. That's why it's got a rating of 15. But thoroughly enjoyed it. I say, very beautifully done. Shows what standard animation can do and the power of drawing. Next one we have, so this is one I picked up after watching Did You See That channel? Obviously he won't probably see this video because he'll still be away, but yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. I think this is the 3rd time I've watched this in like a year and a half since discovering it and watching it, and absolutely amazing. The little booklet in there is very interesting. It gives you a little bit of behind the scenes of how they came up with the idea, and obviously it is based on a few stories and how people have done the gender swapping and why it was chosen in this one. But it's a very beautiful story, very, very clever. The music, it all works so well together. I've seen it in the you can watch it in the Japanese version with subtitles, really good. The music is then the Japanese version. If you want it, watch it in the dubbed version, then there are English versions of the song, which I think is very clever. I've not really come across that much, but just the story and how like these two connect and how it kind of makes you want more by the end, but is just that connection and stuff is so well done. I cannot sing this praise. It's why it's my favourite anime and why I now have the collector's edition. So next up is one to talk about. So this is the Northman. So I've watched this. Hopefully I will have a follow-up on this to go over. But this is Robert Eggers, so the guy who did Nosferatu that I watched recently. It's funny that they chose this image, but he's only in it for like 5 minutes like this. He has his hair all cut off. Eggers has a very stylized way of showing stuff. It is very seen in Nosferatu. very beautifully done. I'll give it that. The set piece in the camera angle, really nice. The acting was good. I just think the story, it revolved a lot around kind of supernatural and elemental stuff like this, and that didn't necessarily relate to me as much as we were going along the story. So I struggled a little bit, as I say. From if you take the story as overall, it's not a bad story, and I say it's beautifully executed, but I think it could be far better. And obviously having this kind of Northman Viking era with a lot of symbolism, it can lose a lot of people, and I think that's what happened with this one. So next up in preparation, probably would have seen it by the time this video is out, but for Captain America 4, so I decided to revisit Falcon and Winter Soldier. I bought this near the end of last year and actually thoroughly enjoyed it the second time round. I did enjoy it the first time, but I enjoyed it more the second time round. I thought it was very much I didn't relate too much to Sam Wilson's character in this. I thought he was always good as a psychic, never as a frontman. That is yet to be determined from recording of this video. But I think this worked well. I think for the story of the MCU, even though I would have preferred Bucky to have it like the comics, I think it was destined more to go to Sam, and I think I see more of that the second time round. How they bring the other elements in is good. The opening scene where he's trying to get the kind of army man out with the helicopters and stuff was very well done, and having kind of the flag smashers where they could kind of get rid of them all by the end of it, and obviously bring in these other little characters, I think worked quite well. They were expendable, and that was the whole point of it. So thoroughly enjoyed that. The next three, I'll have to do it. So Matt from Matt's V Movies gifted me these two, and obviously then I picked up the 50 Shades Free. So I'd watched these first two at the cinema. I went with my friends, went on Valentine's Day. And for me, take out all the S&M and stuff like this, I was intrigued to more of the story behind it. There was obviously something going on with Christian Grey that he needed to find out. Obviously, it reveals in this one. This one is the shortest one of it. To be honest, I was very disappointed in the ending. I know it made a lot of money. I think it was 150 million to make these three movies, and it made way over $1 billion. So that is a lot of money, and obviously the hype and stuff. I was expecting kind of it kind of highlighted a few things and speculated at a few things as we went along, and then near the end of the movie, it kind of, the last movie is just a very quick, well, this is what happened, and it kind of feels that there could have been something, and they were building something, and then they kind of just created something that was easier to describe. There should have been more, and I say, and I use the stuff of it's like, he's Christian Grey, he's got all this money and stuff, and at the very end of the movie, like, oh, we found your mum. I'm like, they would have found his mum in the first episode, probably even the first movie, or even before that, and stuff like that didn't ring true. And then finally, for this is what I've been working on the past few weeks, is the anime and Marvel collection. So this details 3 series. So we have the Iron Man series, we have the X-Men series, the Wolverine series, and then we have the movie there to go with the other movie that I watched before. So this besides the Blade series is everything they released under this banner. So I rewatched this as the X-Men first. I did quite enjoy it. Some of the animation styles and colorings of the characters didn't quite work, and it is a very, once you having the U-Men and having a few bits like that, I feel didn't quite reach the potential it got. You know, it looked very good, and they had brought new characters in, a different roster, and the fight scenes and stuff are really good, but I think in a little in between, some of it didn't feel as good as an X-Men as it could. And then went on to the Wolverine movie. Wolverine was probably the worst, I thought, of it. Even though he kind of is a young Wolverine, it is kind of a Wolverine with a villain of the day and then a psychic of the day, and that's how they kind of go. And trying to get this girlfriend, kind of get this woman back in the end, and it all ends in disaster kind of anyway. The animation style bringing in Omega Red I did like, and having stuff. I just thought overall it's not kind of the Wolverine we know. It's more of a kind of a samurai or a lone warrior that needs help, and I don't think that's too linked to the Wolverine that I know, and that's probably why. Iron Man I thought was by the best, so he has a kind of an ongoing story. You have this Zodiac set of villains, so you have a different villain kind of each episode leading to this big bad, which kind of all links up. I think the ending was a tiddy bit disappointing, and the animation style of Iron Man was a little bit off. I think the fact that he has different suits and different powers and stuff wasn't exploited within this, and they probably could have done a bit more and amped it up that he has different weapons and different suits to combat all these different villains. It is what it is. And then you had the film, which basically goes around the Punisher and the Black Widow, which was actually really, really good. They bring the Avengers at the end. I thought this was quite a well done story, and thoroughly enjoyed it. So glad to have this in the collection, and I've rewatched it. I don't think they bought, to get Blade is very expensive, so unfortunately that probably will never happen. But there we go. That has been a look what I've been watching. Have you seen anything on this list? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and I shall see you in the next one.